A psychotherapist who claimed to be able to cure gay people has lost her appeal against a decision by her professional association to suspend her. Reparative or conversion therapy has been condemned as a serious risk to the health and well-being of gay people. But Leslie Pilkington's efforts to use the technique were secretly recorded by a journalist who posed as a client. Porrick O'Brien reports.
No way, ex-gay, no way, ex-gay.
Belfast last year, campaigners demonstrate outside a reparative therapy conference inside a small group of mainly evangelical Christians. After perusing the literature, they settle down to hear keynote speaker Leslie Pilkington, here wearing red. She's a qualified psychotherapist and member of the British Association of Counsellors and Psychotherapists. At least she was, until her membership was suspended. And here's why. 3 years ago, a gay Christian called Matthew went for counselling with Mrs. Pilkington. He told her he didn't want to be gay anymore. But Matthew wasn't Matthew. He was campaigning gay journalist Patrick Strudwick. He secretly recorded what happened. We asked actors to reconstruct the session using a transcript of the tapes. She starts to explore reasons why her client might be gay and asks whether he'd been separated from his mother soon after birth.
It can sometimes mean days, weeks of actual isolation, so they internalise it. There's not a lot in the literature about it, but it's something I've noticed often in my work.
About halfway through the session, she seems to suggest some sort of repressed memory of sexual abuse.
You mentioned sexual abuse. Again, nothing comes to mind, but then there's a lot in life that's not immediately apparent.
Yes, I think it is in there. It's something within you, but outside your mind. Is it okay with you if we ask the Holy Spirit to help you to bring these things to your conscious mind?
Fine.
These two sessions were alarming because they were based on the premise that homosexuality is an illness, a mental illness, and of course we know that it isn't, and therefore it cannot be treated and should not be treated.
Other aspects of his background are explored. It all gets progressively more bizarre.
Freemasonry? Anything like that in the family?
No.
Nothing like that at all?
Freemasonry? No.
Mr. Strudwick complained to the British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy, and in May last year, her membership was suspended. Leslie Pilkington appealed the association's decision, but today the association decided to reject that appeal. They started by criticising some of the procedural aspects of the counselling session, but went on then into the meat of the issue. They criticised Mrs. Pilkington for associating homosexuality with depression and for disclosing her personal view on his lifestyle and sexual orientation. They wrote, "Accordingly, this panel has unanimously agreed that the findings amount to professional malpractice in that Mrs. Pilkington failed to provide the complainant with adequate professional services that could reasonably be expected of a practitioner exercising reasonable care and skill." Professor Michael King has surveyed people who've gone through the therapy.
Often they were disappointed by or traumatised by the therapy. It didn't turn out how they thought. Some of them got married under the guidance of the church or therapist, and that usually ended in disaster. And then they came out the other end either feeling victorious that somehow they'd put that nonsense behind them, or very, very uncertain and damaged and hadn't succeeded in any form of relationship, heterosexual or homosexual.
Recently, a proposed ad promoting reparative therapy was banned from London buses by the Mayor Boris Johnson. He's not alone. The British Medical Association and all major mental health organisations have also highlighted the damage it can do.